In this video, we're taking a look at the brand new Hillman vintage combo synth from Klevgrand here on the iPad. Let's go. Hi, my name is Pete and welcome to Studio Live today, where my goal is to help you create, record and release your best music. And today I've got something very special and brand new, at least if you're watching today, and that is the new Hillman vintage combo synth from Klevgrand. And the difference about this video is that we're recording live-ish. We're recording live to tape. So what I'm going to do is show you through what I've found so far. I've had this synth for literally 20 minutes and I've been playing around with it. So we're going to dive in, we're going to hit record, we're going to create some sounds using this very cool new instrument here in GarageBand. So you ready? I'm ready. Let's dive in and take a look. So the red light is flashing now, we're recording and we won't have any more edits from here. What is the Hillman vintage combo synth? Well, it is a synth-like instrument. That's what Klevgrand themselves say about it. It's inspired by old combo organs and string machines, and it's not replacing vintage gear, but is rather aims to add new color to the modern producer's sound palette. So we've got warm strings, soulful organs, futuristic synthesizers, and everything in between. And that is exactly what we're going to take a look at now. So let's take a look around the interface to start with, shall we? So we have 4 different settings here that we can adjust, that we can dial in, all sorts of different things here. And I haven't even had time to work out what these do, but we've got octave settings here. We've got colorful buttons that we can press, and I'm sure that we're going to play around with these and have some fun. And I'm sure I'll re-explore this in a future video and find out exactly what they do. The cool thing here is that we have here an attack, we've got a sustain, we've got the decay, and we've got the release here. I was going to say ASMR. It's not that, is it? It's attack, delay, sustain, release, ADSR. Slightly different here. We can actually adjust those for each of our sounds. We've then got a chorus effect here that we can dial in, and because it's Klevgrand, you know it's simple. We've got 4 settings for chorus here. We've then got our rate for our phaser that we can dial up and dial down. We've then got a mode switch here between 3 different modes, and we can add in how much reverb we want. We've got a master output volume control over here, and then here's where it gets cool. We've got all of the different presets. You know, I'm a fan of presets, and Klevgrand bring the fun with the presets. So we've got all of these string sounds here, we've got some organ sounds, we've got some pads, and we've got some bass. So let's jump in and get busy and start recording with this. Now, you probably want to know, how do we use this and what is it all about? How much is it going to cost me? All of that jive. So at the moment, it is 30% off because it's just been released, which means it's $6.99 US. It's $9.99 regular price. And depending where you are in the world, you'll still get your 30% off, but it'll be a different price. And yeah, and that's pretty cool. The other thing I want to mention here is Klevgrand were kind enough to provide me with a demo copy for the demonstration that you're going to see here today. So let's jump in and take a look. Now, I'm here in GarageBand, but of course this is an AUV3 virtual instrument, which means you can use it in any platform you like. So here I am in GarageBand. I've got it running already, but let's say you don't have it set up. Let's actually get rid of this. We'll delete it. Let's add in a brand new track. So what we need to do is go to External here in GarageBand. We're going to tap on Audio Unit Extensions, and we're going to select Hillman here. Here we are. We jump into the Hillman synth and we can play a very bad C chord there. We can then start dialing in the different sounds that we want. The beauty part of being an AUV3 plugin is that when we record it, it's going to actually go in as MIDI note information. So when we actually go and we can edit it, we can change the instrument, we can do all cool things like that. So let's start off. We're actually going to start from the bottom. We're going to add some bass. Let's find a bass sound that we like. So we can go bass, and we get a sound like this. And you can see, this is a good demonstration because you can see here at the top here, we've got the attack here. And of course, with a bass, you want the attack to be pretty quick. And then it's cutting down here. There's no sustain or delay, and the release is pretty quick too. We can change all of this. Let's say we wanted a big long bass sound. We can do that. Now, you wouldn't really want this with a bass sound, but what if we want the attack to be a bit slower? Well, we can do that there as well. So you've got full control here, and I love this little graph. I've only, again, been playing with it like 20 minutes, and it's super, super cool. We've then got chorus effect that we can add in here, so we can change the chorus. we can add some more chorus in there. We can drop it down, of course. We've then got a phaser, so there's our normal. We can dial that up and get some more phaser sound all the way up. Sounding cool. We've got different modes here that we can switch between. That's very cool. And then, of course, our reverb control here that we can dial up if we want a spacier reverb sound, or, of course, we can go nuts and we can get some very atmospheric kind of sounds that are probably going to be blowing your head off there at the moment. So we can play around with all that. And then, of course, if we want to go back and try something different, let's like go into like a bowed bass sound here. And that's pretty cool, right? So why don't we lay down some tracks here? And because we're here live to tape, let's record some bass sounds here. So I'm going to hit the record. I've set up nothing else in here, but I'm just going to play. I'm going to play right here on the keyboard, and we're just going to improvise something a bit cool here. So, well, potentially cool. Let's hit record, shall we? Here we go. Right, we've only gone 4 bars, but that's okay, because what you'll be able to see here is the power of an AUV3, an audio unit instrument. We can now come back, if we go to track view, take a look at this. There you go, we can actually edit the notes here. So we've got all of our notes in here, and what we'll do is we'll drag it back so that we have it right back to bar 5 there, and we'll tap on it, we'll loop it even, and now we've got an 8-bar loop. There we go, we can turn off our metronome. And there's a little bit of a da-doom because I haven't really edited it properly. That's okay. We're just going to continue on with it. Now, here's the cool thing. If we don't like that bass sound, we'll come back to our instrument. We don't want the bowed bass. What if we want a buzzy bass? Well, we can style that in and... Oh, I'm not sure about that one. Maybe not for this sort of thing. What about a percussive bass? That could be cool. Let's see what this sounds like with a percussive bass. That's not bad. Now I know that the YouTube compression's probably playing with the bass here. So why don't we change this up now and go to a different kind of sound? And here's the cool thing. We'll dial this out. We'll bring that sound down a bit just so it's not distracting us. And then we'll duplicate this out. So we'll duplicate out our Hillman synth, and then we'll go into this second track. We'll tap on the audio unit there, and we'll bring it back in. Now let's bring in some pads, shall we? So here's what we've got in our pads. We've got like an 80s pad. We can use there. We've got all sorts of different ones. What about Mystic Plasma? Oh, I kind of like that one. In fact, let's do that one, but let's play with some of these. Let's bring some like higher octaves in here. All right, let's use this one. We'll go with this higher octave, and we'll just like add a bit of a pad underneath this bass line. So we'll hit record, and we'll throw in a pad. All right, we've stopped that one. And again, the beauty part is we can edit this. We can edit the notes here. Over here, you can see where I put the change of the chord in there, the change of the note, and we can edit this. So if we play it back. And of course, on this second one, if we come back here and we take a look at this, look at the attack there. You can see that this has got a slower attack and a longer release. We've got lots of reverb. We've got a little bit of phaser. We've got heaps of chorus on here. We want to change that? A little bit less chorus? No problem. We get a very different kind of sound, yeah? So that's kind of cool. All right, let's continue on and take a look at another track. So if we then come back, we'll go to our track view, and we will duplicate this one out. I'm really liking these sounds already. Again, haven't spent much time with this, but I can see these being used, not just by themselves, but yes, we would use these with a beat and with other things here. So if we come in here, let's have a look at the organ sound. I'm super impressed with some of these organ sounds. So if we go to the regular organ, we can... That's a pretty cool synth organ sound, right? And then we've got like the organette. We can play that there. Again, it's got a little bit of a quicker cutoff time. You can see there by the graph there. What about like a church organ here? right? So you've got the idea here. You can actually layer up these sounds, and these are going to sound great in all sorts of different music that you're going to be producing. However, let us just see if we can just add in something. We're going to go to church. Let's just try. What about theatre organ? Yeah, it sounds a bit like a baseball game, doesn't it? Let's. I don't really know what I'm going to play here, but let's hit record and just improvise, shall we? See what we're going to do here. All right. That's kind of cool. And we're pushing the iPad Air 2, by the way, which is what I'm using here. When you're using an audio unit plugin like this, it's a good bit of a test here because we're going to be using a bit of the memory and a bit of the processing power. But so far, we've got 3 different tracks here, and it's not glitching out too badly at all. We're actually doing quite well. So let's just turn the volume of these couple up, and let's just play this track back. Now, the other cool thing here is you've probably already worked this out, but because these are MIDI tracks, we can do all of our cool MIDI things. So we can come in here to our track settings. If we wanted to quantize this, we can quantize it. So we can put the quantization on here. Let's put these all to like 16th note quantization, shall we? That way we know, actually, you know what? They're actually a swinged kind of rhythm. That's actually going to sound terrible. But we can quantize them if we want to, right? And we can actually transpose them. So this is something we can do. What if we want to go up 3 semitones on all of these? Well, this is it. This is why Audio Unit wins over Inter-App Audio every time, because take a listen now. Right. So we can keep everything transposed. Now I'm going to bring it back because I want to play in C because I'm not a great keyboard player. So we're going to bring it back down here. But again, you can transpose by octaves. You can do your quantizing. You can do all your cool things. All right, let's go. We've got another category of instruments here. So let's duplicate out again. And we'll come back to the start here. We're going to go back to our instrument by tapping on here. And this time, let's bring in the string sound. We've got some great strings in here. I love a mellotron. I need to find out what this sounds like. And yeah, look, I'm just tapping. Tap. But look at that release and the reverb that we're getting on that. So that is a really cool sound. And again, we can adjust some of these. Like if we want to add in, you get that depth that you get in there. It's so cool. And again, I do have to come back and play with a lot more of this, and we will do another video, but I wanted to make sure we took a first look, and I was super excited to play with it, so I wanted to show you what it's all about. All right, let's record in, and let's just add a string part to this. Although, you know what, do we need? Yeah, okay, we're going to add this string part, because we're going to just... All right, I think we're good. Maybe we just want to bring the attack down a little bit, because we already have a pad there, so can we bring the attack a little bit? And there you go. There's the flexibility. We could grab that attack and bring it down like that so that we're ready to go. So let's just record in a bit of an improvised part again. Hit record. All right, that wasn't the greatest playing, but let's just listen back to that, because here's the thing. We can come back out here. We can just solo that one. Sounds good. There's some really cool sounds in here. I'm super impressed already. So yeah, the Hillman vintage combo synth here from Klevgrand. You know that it's going to be simple. It's going to be easy to use because it's made by Klevgrand. You know that the presets, they've spent a lot of time dialing these in, giving you these custom sounds, making it cool. Audio Unit just makes it so nice. And it's really cool to see another instrument from Klevgrand. We've got lots of cool Klevgrand plugins that have been coming out of late. This is the first new instrument we've seen in a while, and I'm really enjoying it. Let's just take a listen to one more. Let's go to the orchestra strings here. Right. This is going to work in all sorts of different music, and I'm looking forward to exploring it in more detail. There you go. It is the Hillman. It is the vintage combo synth by Klevgrand. It is super fun. I'm enjoying it here. Check out the link in the description below if you want to check it out as well. And thank you to Klevgrand once again for giving me this review copy to take a look at here today. There's 2 more videos about some other cool Klevgrand gear down below. You can subscribe to the channel by clicking or tapping on the Studio Live Today icon, and I'll see you next time.